I have a question.
Yes.
It's kind of random, but kind of not. Because you mentioned MJF becoming like super over, like babyface pro AEW, whatever. How do you think AEW fans would react if MJF jumped ship? Do you think that like if out of all of the people who could possibly jump ship, that his would be like the most explosive? Like people would feel the most betrayed, or like out of all of the people in AEW that
There are
could jump?
only a few off the top of my head, and probably that I can count on my fingers. And by that, I'm counting the entire elite, not Kenny, Youngboy, all that. It would be like the elite, Darby Allin.
People would feel that way about him going to WWE.
He's so no, but because he's so pro AEW and the way he speaks about it, it would
Oh,
be
okay.
very like what the fuck, or,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever, Darby. MJF is the next person up that I think people would be revolting because he was their legit first homegrown talent and carried the company on his back for this entire year, and what he's done at Wembley, even pivoting from the Adam Cole stuff, winning the ROH tag titles and elevating Ring of Honor. It would be a massive slap in the face, even more so, I think, to AEW. And it might, I don't want to say might, because I think there's another variable that would play into their demise, but it would be definitely the beginning of the end for
If
sure.
MJF left,
It would at least, the cracks would start to
because
hit
it
the
feels
walls.
like Cody leaving was significant because of his ties to the company itself, not just as a performer, but like the starting of the company and whatever. Jade felt like a big deal, but not as massive as I think there are others, that I think if they had left, like we're saying, like MJF, I think that would have been a little bit more significant.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it might have been more so the timing of Jade leaving is what made it not feel as big, because she had just returned and whatever. I think if it was like at the height of all of her success and then she was like,
Mm-hmm.
peace, then it would have been a bigger deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if MJF left, that would be big. And it's also interesting because I was saying to you when we've talked about him in the past that he needed to have a good run as a babyface so that he could show that he's a dynamic person and can do everything. And now that he's doing that and he's successfully doing it, he's a very well-rounded performer, which is like, okay, well, WWE is going to be more interested now whenever he becomes a free agent, because now they know, okay, we can bring him in and we can use him in any way that we want. But I'm interested to see what happens over the next like couple years with some of the guys that were like homegrown AEW, because what if it becomes more of like, because obviously we know NJF has had background roles within WWE. He sent in tryouts for Tough Enough, so he's wanted to be in WWE. But I'm curious if at some point when people get to a level, if they're going to kind of treat AEW as almost like the minor leagues. And they're there to like establish themselves, learn the craft, do this and do that, and then they're like, all right, I'm off to bigger and better things, and they go to WWE. I'm just curious to see if that's happening, because that kind of seems like what happened with Jade. So I'm curious if there's going to be other guys that are going to do that too.
It'd be more yes, I agree in a sense.
But it would have to be like people who started in WWE, like weren't really anything. Like I'm not saying the elite. Like no, people.
No, the elite. Yeah, you
be
can't.
like MJF's, Jade's, like those types
Ricky
of people.
Starks.
Yeah, well, duh, that's happening. We know
that's happening. They talk about someone who's made for WWE. It's Ricky Starks.
Well, and your closest ally is Cody Rhodes. So, like, if this was Cody Rhodes circa 2012, I don't think that we would be saying it. But I mean, who's better to have on your side than him right now?
Than the American Nightmare himself.